Hello guys. Today we are solving this daily Leetcode challenge problem 1266, minimum time visit all points. The question is very simple. On a 2D plane, there are n points with integer coordinates. So we are given a 2D, we are given a 2D array, and inside that each array contains a two coordinate of x1 and y1. So that is what it is said. Point of I consists of xi and yi. Return the minimum time in second to visit all points in the order given in the points. Okay. So what happens is, like, if it is said, if it is given that 1 comma 1 and then 3 comma 4, so the question wants the author want you to travel from 1 comma 1 to 3 comma 4 first, and then from 3 comma 4 to minus 1 comma 0. So you don't have to travel in a way like from 1 comma 1 to 0. No, you have to travel in a serial number wise. So that is why the index wise. So whichever like comes first, you'll have to find the distance, minimum distance of those things. So just to explain you guys in a proper way, I'll just take an example for this case, the example that is given here. So let's say we have a point here, a coordinate 1 comma 1 coordinate, and we have to reach the next coordinate, that is 3 comma 4. Okay, and the next coordinate is minus 1 comma 0. So first we'll reach from minus 1 comma 1 to 3 comma 4. So we'll take one diagonal distance, that is 1, and we take another diagonal distance, that is 2. We have reached here, and again we'll take one vertical, that will be 1, that will be 1. So in order to reach from 1 comma 1 to 3 comma 4, total we take 3 distance, 3 unit of distance, 3 unit of time, let's say, because we are taking 1 unit of time to cover 1 unit of distance. So for this we covered we took 3 unit of time, and again from here we took 1 seconds here to cover this 1 unit, and then another second here, and then another second here, and then another second here. So to cover from 3 comma 4 to minus 1 comma 0, we took 4 seconds, and from my 1 comma 1 to 3 comma 4, 3 seconds. So in total 7. So as we can see, 7 is the answer. I hope the question is clear to you. Actually, I just don't want to explain this question, but there's this hidden for mathematical formula that is there, which is used to calculate this particular uh, distance in very effective way. So I would like to discuss that particular uh, formula that is there. So it is nothing but if I simply open this up. Yeah. So this is what we have. This is what we call a chessboard maximum difference calculation formula. So let's say we have a 2 point, let's say P1 and P2 with X1 and Y1, and let's say X2 and Y2. What will happen that this particular distance formula, the D, that is the absolute of x2 minus x1 and the absolute of y2 minus y1, and if you take max of these two, that will give you a maximum distance of those 2 points. I'll explain what are these things. So if you want, like, you can have a look of these proofs. What is this, what are these statements? So let's say x2 minus x1, that will surely be less than equal to d, and the y2 minus y1 will surely be less than equals to d. So similarly, if we combine both of the cases, so minimum of this x2 minus x1 and minimum of this y1 minus y2 is the minim is the maximum allowed distance that you can go in both xy directions. So what do I mean by that? Let me just explain my scalar drawing. So let's say this is your graph, and you are at 1 comma 1, and you want to go to 3 comma 4, 3 comma 4. So what they want you, what that particular formula want you to find first is the maximum allowed distance that you can cover in both of the direction without going beyond the parameters. So for this 3 comma 4 you can't go beyond this 3, because if you once you go this point, that might not be the optimal answer. You can go at any point beyond this 3. You should not go, you should not cross this x-axis, that 3 axis, and as well as this 4. You should not cross this y-axis in the horizontal way, and in the vertical way, you should not cross the uh, vertical axis. So, in this particular question, what is the minimum distance? What is the maximum distance that you can think of that you can travel in both x and y direction without violating the cases, without exceeding the horizontal and vertical limits? So let's say in x direction we can take one step and two steps. So two is the maximum step that we can take. Beyond this, this is the invalid cases. In y-axis, so in upper axis, if you can take one step, you can take two steps, and you can allow the step is three. Third step is well as well. Like the third step is also a valid step, but because you can't take more than three steps in the x-axis, and you can take three steps in the y-axis. So what will be your the maximum distance that you can in both direction, if we calculate, that will be nothing but minimum of this x2 minus x1. So this is nothing but x2 minus x1, and this is nothing but y2 minus y1. Okay, so the maximum distance in both direction. Okay, the maximum distance that you can cover in both direction is nothing but x2 minus x1, y2 minus y1. And if you calculate both of these two, this will come x2 minus 1, x1 come 3 minus 1, that is not but 2, and is 4 minus 1, that is nothing but 3. So if you take minimum of these two, 2 comma 3, that that distance d will come out to be 2, and this is a correct solution, because if you see, you from this point the maximum allowed distance that you can go without invalidating that particular x2, the x2 uh, plane is the two distance, and as well as in the y, because if you cross this to 3, that will be an invalid case. So what we have discovered is uh, a distance 2. Now try to understand this thing. Try to understand this thing. If you if you want, if you have to go to this plane, and you can take a vertical and a horizontal, a vertical, and a diagonal path, what path you would choose? So the preferred path is always a diagonal path, because that is the shortest path. So let's say if you want to reach this index and you take a horizontal path. So first you will have to go in this direction. So that is a 1 unit of time, and another this is the 1 unit of time. So that is 2 unit. If you want to take a vertical, that will again a 1, and that will again a 2 unit of time. So what we do in this case is we always take a vertical vertical way. Okay, we always take a vertical way. So let's say when you have d is equals to 2, means you can go two distance in this direction in x and two distance in y direction without invalidating that case. So that is nothing but it is a 2 by 2 chessboard. So if you can go two distance in x and if you can go two distance in y, so you can also go two distance in diagonal. So this is our, let's say, step one answer. So the diagonal distance, so that step one is nothing but a diagonal. So total diagonal distance we have covered is 2. So the 2 unit means we have taken 2 seconds to cover the diagonal distance. But there might be a possible that your destination might not be at the diagonal edge point. Okay, your destination might not be the diagonal edge point. From that particular point, you might have to go on a horizontal axis, and you might have to go on a vertical axis. So whatever extra distance that you will have to cover, whatever the extra distance that you will have to cover, you will have to simply add. So how will you find that extra cover? How will you find that extra distance? So let's say in the given question, you had to go three distance in the y, you had to go only two distance on the x. That extra one distance that you have to cover on the y-axis. So that is nothing but the maximum of this x difference, x2 minus x2 minus x1 ka difference, and the maximum of y2 minus y1 ka difference. So if you take what extra mile that you have to cover, so you will have to take maximum of this x difference minus y difference and subtract minimum of x difference and y difference. Okay, so what does this mean? So x difference is nothing but x2 minus x1 here, and y difference is nothing but y2 minus y1 here. Similarly, this is same to these things. So if you take the maximum distance you have to cover either in x and in y direction, so that is a 3 distance of 3 that you have to cover in uh, y direction. So maximum distance is 3, but the minimum distance that you have to cover, that allowed cover, is 2. So the extra mile, the extra mile that you have got, that you have to cover either in x or y direction, is this one distance. So the distance d, the allowed maximum allowed either in x and y, was 2, and the extra mile, that one that you have got, if you add both of these two, so that distance d plus this extra mile will give you a right answer. So I hope it is the approach is clear to you. The approach is clear to you. So what we are doing, from a point X, we are trying to find the maximum allowed distance in both of these two index. So if you can go in X and Y, so you will form a n 2 by 2 or 3 by 2 or some X by X plane. So in X by X square plane, you can also go in a diagonal way. A diagonal will always give you a shorter distance, and after calculating, after going as much as you can in the diagonal way, we'll find what are the extra mile we have to cover in either in x direction or either in y direction. That will be nothing but that will be given by maximum of x, maximum of x difference minus y difference, and if you subtract minimum of x difference and y difference, that will give you extra mile. Sorry. So that will give you extra mile, and that is what we have done. So this is the maximum allowed distance. This is the maximum allowed distance in both x and y, and this is the extra mile. How did we calculate both of these two? I'll write the formula again. So this is nothing but we take minimum of x2 minus x1 absolute, uh, comma y2 minus y1. This will give you this thing, the maximum allowed distance in the x, either in the x plane or y plane, and then you will add maximum. This is for the extra mile that you will cover. Maximum of that x2 minus x1, y2 minus y1, and then what you will do for extra mile, you will subtract minimum out of it. So minimum of that x2 minus x1 absolute, comma y2 minus y1. Okay, so you can take these things in. So this is your whole formula, and you'll have to store this in answer variable. And once you are done iterating over whole array, calculating this, that will be your answer. So let's say I'll just go to my submission. So this is the code that I have. Initially, I found what is my current x, what is my current y. Then I found what is my target index, what is my target x and target y. I'm iterating from 0 to less than point dot size minus 1. Then I calculated x difference. So remember I said x2 minus x1. This is what x difference is. And then y2 minus y1. That is what y difference is. And then I take minimum. And then again I calculated that maximum extra mile. And then I added both of these two things in answer, keep on adding. Then I got my final answer. Thank you.